Hey, what's going on? This is Instructor Mike. All right, let's go. So let's have that conversation. And I decided to have this conversation on both YouTube and X, formerly known as Twitter. So somebody decided to come to me and sit here and say, oh, and by the way, the use of these videos are used as authorized in accordance with Title 17, United States Code Section 107, which is U.S. copyright law for fair use, for criticism, teaching, all that great stuff. So let's go on ahead and have that conversation. Somebody decided on X to talk to me about competition shooting, and they weren't even really talking to me. They were more so talking at me, right? Introducing Matt Pranka. No, in fairness, never heard the guy, okay? And with so many millions of people on the earth, who has heard of everybody, right? So they sent me a video, Matt Pranka, and talked about the benefits of practical shooting. I had a chance to watch his video. His video is only 2 minutes. And I had a chance to watch his video. And I have some criticisms of that video. So let's talk about it. Now, I'm still waiting for someone to teach me, because I am an open source learner. I am a student. I will not tolerate personal attacks. I'll just block you. I just don't have time for that. Shame, insults, guilt, the need to be right, we'll block that. I don't have time for that. But teach me. Let's talk about it. Teach me, teach me, teach me. I talked about practical shooting. The United States, and this is not an attack against the United States Practical Shooting Association. This is not an attack against them, even though they may feel triggered, which why you should never feel triggered by me, because I'm no one. I don't think I'm no one, but I'm no one. I'm average, right? I'm no one. Right? But I'm talking about practical shooting and how tactical and practical, there's some, we just have, I guess there's different definitions of that which is practical. So I'm not going to delay. Let's go on ahead and talk about this video. Kind of want to get past this. Shouts out to Surefire. This is field notes. I kind of want to get past that and get right into the introduction so that we can go on ahead. This video is 2 minutes, so it's not long, right? But I got some thoughts, okay? What's up, JFB? How are you? Let's go on ahead and push. Oh, I'm sorry, trying to blow it up a little bit. Yeah, got it. There we go. Let's go on ahead and talk about it. Here we go.
Pranka, the owner of Extra Alpha. I retired after 26 years in the military.
So already I'm going to go on ahead and kind of pause it right there. 20-something years in the military. First of all, thank you for your service. That is outstanding. But let's talk facts. 20 plus years in the military in a team type set of positions. Does that make sense? Special forces, you're not by yourself. You can find yourself by yourself, but you're mostly with teams. Is that correct? You're mostly with teams. It isn't as though they found bin Laden and said, hey, Matt, we want you to go by yourself. You are with a team. Navy SEALs, team. Special forces, team. Police officers, mostly teams, right? Call for backup. You got people there. You get what I'm saying, right? Teams, 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 teams. Find me a lonely CIA operative that has had to do work, operate by themselves without the benefit of a lot of government backup and have had to survive. Because that's the type of mindset that I would want in instructing concealed carriers who have to operate by themselves. Does that make sense? It's like when you're with a team, what's the benefit of being with a team? When you're with a team, let's just say you all are shooting in various directions, whatever the case may be, or maybe there's a singular threat, whatever the case may be, double threat, whatever, and you're shooting. What's the benefit of being with the team? If you mess up, you got somebody on your flank, whatever, to pick up the slack of where you mess up. So you got a benefit, right? But when you're by yourself, whatever you do has to work. It has to work. Does that make sense? I don't think people understand. All right, let's push, because I want to get to the rest of his stuff that he's talking about. And I don't expect everybody to agree. Those of you who know me, you know I'm looking for agreement. I don't really care. I'm looking to learn things. And I'll stand on my platform till the day it changes. Let's go.
I'm a USPSA production grandmaster, and I want to talk to you about the benefits of practical shooting. I think before we talk about the benefits of PSA production.
Okay, what do you see him actively doing? You see him shooting. Do you see any of these targets falling? Let me ask you this question. What is the benefit of using a firearm for practical purposes if the target is not falling? If the target is not falling, what's the benefit of using the firearm for practical purposes if the big picture change is not happening? Watch when he shoots and look at the targets.
For 26 years in the military, I'm a USPSA production.
Now, in that position, you've got what? One target above. Let's look to the left. One target above. The white is what you're not supposed to hit. Then you've got a target in the middle that's black, right? You're not supposed to hit that, but the brown area you're supposed to hit. And then you've got another target that's right here. If these represented 3 people and he was standing in an open area, would he still stand there? Is it practical for him to stand there? No, it's not. So you started this evolution from a position that's already bad, pushing
in the military
out towards 3 targets who presented themselves to be deadly threats. Is this practical? Talk about, that's fine. Okay, whatever. Talk about me, Mike Brown. I'm nothing, right? I'm a pogue, nothing. Come on. Is this practical? Does somebody get what I'm saying? Look, is this USPSA stuff fun? Hell yeah, it's fun as hell. It's fun. But how is it practical for a self-defender? You said it's not, but he's supposed to be using that net as cover and concealment. Y'all, do y'all get what I'm saying? So already you starting the video off with criticisms of tactical shooters from a position of disadvantage. Make it make sense.
I'm a USPSA production grandmaster, and I want to talk to you about the benefits of practical shooting. I think before we talk about the benefits.
And let me ask you this. Why are you providing yourself an advantage of seeing through the nets? That's not practical. That's not real.
For tactical.
And I was told right here, you see how he's pushing his gun through that open hole? Are you supposed to do that practically? Do you know what's on the other sides of that hole? You might be pressing towards a threat that you're aiming at, but do you know in fact that no one is on the other side? With the nets, yes, you know. In a practical situation, do you know that no one is on either sides of that hole waiting to snatch your gun?
Shooters, we have to talk about separating your foundational skills, your shooting, from your tactics. Tactical shooters start to layer their training, whether it's CQB or shooting in and around vehicles, without having the necessary foundational development to get the full benefit of that training. In order to understand, advanced concepts like CQB or shooting in and around vehicles.
Now, what did you just see him do? Took his gun from an already standing position.
That training. In order to understand, advanced concepts like CQB.
So based on how he's shooting and his movements, you can tell that he's at least addressing 2 threats that have presented themselves to be deadly threats. Why are you still standing there in that position? I'm waiting. Why are you still standing there in that position? Why are you still standing there in that position? I'm waiting, and I know you're going to attack me in the comments or just ignore it outright. But for those who follow, for those who have real live consequences that you actually have to deal with, does this make sense? Is this practical? What's the definition of practical? Here we go. Practical is defined as of or concerned with the actual doing or use of something rather than just theories or ideas, right? Of an idea, plan, or method likely to succeed or be effective in real circumstances. Here we go. Neither of these strategies is practical. Is that stuff that they are doing, is it practical? He's got a huge criticism of this, but it's not real. It's real in the competition environment. Keep it in that space.
QB or shooting in and around vehicles, you have to be able to have the shooting just kind of run in the background. So I think the biggest benefit of practical shooting for tactical shooters is the combination of speed and accuracy. I think most tactical shooters don't understand the stress that tactical shooters is the combination of speed and accuracy.
So let me ask this question. When we're looking at accuracy, what is this accuracy? What is this accuracy? Is the accuracy hitting the coveted A zones, hitting center of mass? Yes, this would be nice, hitting center of mass. But why do we tell people or instruct people to hit center of mass? Why? Not so that you could get high points. We teach aiming center of mass because the threat is going to likely move, and you want to increase the chances of hitting the threat within the largest portion of the body, the torso, not so that you can keyhole it, but on that practical stuff. This would be in the A zone, and you get points, and you're moving with time and speed. But have you been to the morgue? Because the bodies don't always come in like this. Ask a medical examiner's investigator. Ask a coroner investigator. Talk to a forensic pathologist. They'll tell you, shit, we get our decedents in with holes all over the place. And guess what? A person could be shot right here in the arm, and then it penetrate through the arm and come in through the side right here, and they still lose their life. So what are we talking about here? How practical is that if you're trying to just focus on the A zones so you can get points? Come at me, bro. Come at me. Let's go.
I think most tactical shooters don't understand the stress that's involved with shooting a competition and having on-demand performance for one run, even though you know where all the targets are. I've heard...
Hold on. Even though you know where all the targets are, whatever happened to the saying, no plan survives first contact? Isn't that Murphy's Law? One of Murphy's laws, if it can happen, it will happen. No plan survives first contact. So no matter how good your plans are, it is highly the case that no plan ever survives first contact. Why? Because what you think it's going to be, it could easily change. Not in the USPSA practical, because you know, what did he say? Even though you know where all the targets are. Why did he have to say, even though?
Run, even though you know where all the targets are.
Why did he have to say, even though you know where all the targets are? Let's talk facts. With this net, you're giving yourself an advantage to pre-plan. But a real life situation is anything but planned. Even the raid on Osama bin Laden, guess what happened to the helo? They didn't plan for that updraft and wind to cause the Black Hawk helicopter to fall, but it fell, and they had to audible that. That messed up their surprise, so to speak. What do I know? What do I know? I'm nobody. I'm nobody, but let's go. Right? Because I'm trying to teach those who are also nobodies, right?
I've heard for years that tactical shooters dismiss practical shooting because they think it's a game. You know where all the targets are in the scenario or the stage doesn't develop.
Are those facts? Are those facts?
Or the stage does.
Are those facts? Is it a game? What do you think a competition
game?
is?
You know where all the targets are in the scenario or the stage doesn't develop.
Here we go. Are those facts? Can you dispute those as facts?
For years that tactical shooters dismiss practical shooting because they think it's a game. You know where all the targets are in the scenario or the stage doesn't develop.
Is that true? Is that true? It is in fact a game. You do know where the targets are. I've been to these matches myself. I've been to these practice things myself. I've seen the fastest shooters look at the targets and talk to each other as to how they're going to address them. And then they move fast and then you get points. It's a game. You get points. You get points. It is a game. Come on, bro. Stop the bull. Stop the bull. Let's go.
Most tactical shooters that I've seen, when you put them on a stage and they know where all the targets are, they are not able to execute a stage plan that they've rehearsed in their mind. That on-demand demonstrable performance is one of the biggest benefits of practical shooting. I think most tactical shooters don't go to matches and compete because they're unwilling to be racked and stacked against a field of competitors. The stress of on-demand performance in a match when everyone's watching and you know that it's going to be recorded and you're going to be ranked against a field of competitors is something that most tactical shooters don't get from their scenario-based training.
You know why? Do you know why? I'll give you. Do you know why? Do you know why? Because our experience leads us to believe and know, not even believe, but know the target is not falling. See, there's a balance here. See, when you're in your cosplay stages, you know the target isn't gonna fall. So you're not looking for the target to fall. You're trying to get precise and get points. What did he say? Speed and accuracy. Speed and accuracy. But he didn't say anything about reality. The targets are not falling. And so what does that do to our brains? We freeze from moving on. Why? Because the target did not fall. Most tactical shooters are looking for the target to actually fall, because when you're in a real life situation, you're looking for the big picture change. What's the big picture change? The target to actually fall. So who am I? I'm no one. Let me stop sharing this for a minute, and I'm going to bring in someone, right, who said it best. Someone who said it best, right? And I played this video. What? Let me hold on for a minute. Let me stop talking and try to find it. I hope y'all are doing good. Yes. There we go. Here is somebody who also served in the military, who was special forces, addressing the very same thing.
Possible for him to be that accurate?
Here's somebody who was in the military, who was in special forces, who addressed the very same thing. Shouts out to FNG Academy.
Baba Yaga.
Pause. Okay. Is it possible for him to be that accurate in the dark that accurate at all. All headshots, all kills.
Yeah, dude.
Not one bullet wasted.
Yeah, dude. And not only is it possible for him to be that accurate,
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is actually that accurate. He goes to Terran Tactical, which is competitive shooter.
Right.
But listen,
I've seen that. Joe Rogan goes there too, right?
yeah, Terran Tactical is phenomenal. Keanu Reeves can actually shoot like that. So if you shoot a silhouette that's white and you hit him in the face every single time, yes, it's going to be harder with an actual human being, but you possess the skills. That's like going to jiu-jitsu every day of your life and being like, yes, I could destroy this guy, but can you do it if it's a real fight? Yeah, dude, of course. What's up with that face? What do you mean? That was
If
my
it's
announcer.
a real fight.
He transitions like he's at the range with Terran Tactical. So boom, 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 boom. Well, if you do that at a competition match and you miss a target, oh, well, you're down on points. But if you do that in real life, boom, 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 you transition so fast, you didn't take time to see if that person was down or if they could still fight. So let's say you whiz past his head or you hit him in a spot that didn't take him out and you didn't make sure that he was down and out. Now he's shooting you on the floor. He fell back and then he keeps shooting you. So the only thing is I would expect him to slow down a little bit to make sure with each target that they're actually being put out of consciousness. He shoots as though he's shooting still with Terran Tactical, which makes perfect sense. But in real life, you need to know that that person is not going to shoot back.
And the problem with that is you don't get to know that that person is not going to shoot back in a situation that's real, because what are you focusing on in competition? Speed, accuracy, points, and according to Matt Pranka, right, according to him, you're trying to be stacked up against the guys and popular.
Not able to execute a stage plan that they've rehearsed in their mind. That on-demand, demonstrable performance is one of the biggest benefits of practical shooting. I think most tactical shooters don't go to matches and compete because they're unwilling to be racked and stacked against a field of competitors. The stress of
racked and stacked against a field of competitors. Bro, as a concealed carrier in a real life situation where you don't have a team, there's no audience cheering you on. There's no field of competitors. The only accuracy that you need to have is the accuracy that you need to have in the situation to stop that threat. And what does that mean? In the competition, you can't miss, right? Or if you miss, what do you lose? Points. Oh, okay. Well, you didn't hit, right? But you only can hit that thing twice. But guess what? In a real situation, if I've got a 15-round mag and I'm shooting, pop, 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 and this threat is moving, guess what may happen? I may miss. I'm not thinking about points. I'm really not thinking about where the round is going, right? Because I don't care about that. I'm trying to stop that threat. I might have shot how many times? 10 times. I don't know. I'm not counting. But I know, pop, 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 I keep shooting until that threat has stopped or until the behavior has changed. Wherever it hits, it hits. Wherever it lands, it lands. What's the reality behind shots? There are at least 4 things, if not more, that shots can actually do. 1, shots, if you shoot and miss, what do they call that? Suppressive fire. What does suppressive fire do? Stop the other person from trying to shoot you, or buys time so that elements can move so that you don't get hit. So there's that, right? Number 2, what's the next thing you do if you shot at and hit? If you shot at and hit that person, they may be affected, right? May be affected. Hit them, pop. Here we go. Thank you. Come on. I believe tactical shooters don't compete in these events because we aren't interested in unrealistic training. I was waiting for somebody to come on, JFB, and all y'all, you've been on it. You've been on it. Second thing, here we go. Shot, hit. Even if they're hit in the vest and it didn't take them down, it still buys you what? Time. It buys you time. to be able to give another shot at some place that might be more effective, right? Distance equals time. If you don't have distance, you have to create distance by getting time. You got to buy time back. Right? So that's 2, right? 3, you shot, bow, multiple times or even one time, bow, it hit and they fail. That doesn't mean they're totally deleted. They just fail. That also buys you time to be able to get out of there, create distance. You see what I'm saying? And then 4, bow, shot, down. Guess what? Maybe they're terminated. Does that make sense? But in their magical world, every shot has to be effective at getting points. You see what I'm saying? We're not interested in this mythical training. We don't have time for that. And then let's talk facts. In the military, if you're doing dual at the same time, right? Those who are in the military, who are in SF, whatever the case may be, what does Jeff Chudwin say? Jeff Chudwin, look him up. He's got a saying. The military trains and trains and trains and trains for wars they may never fight. Okay, good. So if you're in the military, you get that context. The government has spent so much money into you, dumping and pumping money into you. You get it. So USPSA isn't going to really harm what you've learned because you've done it so much and you continuously train and you continuously deploy. Your deployment op tempo is high. But for the police, okay, maybe this is a step up, right? But you're always on the job. You're always infilling into other people's crises, right? But as a civilian, how much exposure do you get to other people's crises in the military or law enforcement? If you're in neither, you don't get that kind of exposure. And if USPSA or this stuff is the best of the training that you get, you're creating bad habits of delusion because these targets are not falling. They're not falling. And because you live in a safe space, like I live in Chicago, we can get tested at any given time. So our realism has to be, our training has to be realistic. If I go outside and something happens and I just happen to get the advantage, pop, 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 I don't care if it hit here. I don't care if it hit here. I don't care where it hits in that torso. The torso is the objective to do one of 4 things. Maybe suppress, saving me time. Hits, right? Shock value buys me time. Hits, falls, right? And then I'm able to move on or exfil to someplace else, or hits, falls, terminated. One of those 4 outcomes are acceptable to me. Does that make sense? Well, if you don't have the stress of time, you got the stress of time when this person's trying to pop, pop, pop at you and you don't want to get hit. And just because you don't want to get hit doesn't mean you don't have a comfortable relationship with the F. You may not care about the F and be okay with that. But I still don't want to get hit. Does that make sense? And so these cultures that say, well, if you don't get hit, you're not a man. Yes, no plan survives first contact. We got that. What did Mike Tyson say? Mike Tyson said, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. Well, the goal is not to get punched in the face. The goal is not to get punched in the face. That's why I love Money Mayweather. He's called the money team, not the knockout team. The money team. Why? We get to the money when we do what we have to do to avoid getting hit, I love that people in the boxing world, some like him, some don't like him. He don't care. His objective is to get to the money. Does that make sense? So let's get to the money and stop playing cosplay.
On-demand performance in a match when everyone's watching and you know that it's going to be recorded and you're going to be ranked against a field of competitors is something that most tactical shooters don't get from their scenario-based training. One thing,
because we don't want to get ranked against a field of competitors. We want to survive the encounter. We want, first of all, I'm not in competition to be the best shooter ever. But I would like to be in a competition to survive the encounter. Does that make sense? It's not like the police are out there, go, Mike, go. They're not out there doing that. You see what I'm saying? So just say you want the attention and the camaraderie that comes with being with a group of other like-minded cosplayers. Then that makes sense. Cosplay is a community.
And you're going to be ranked against a field of competitors is something that most tactical shooters don't get from their scenario-based training. One thing.
But what do they get from their scenario-based training? Thank you. Come on, man. Come on. Where have you been all my life? L228. That guy thinks competition shooting is stressful. He obviously hasn't tried force on force with sim rounds. Hold on. I got another video I'm going to use. And I already know. Let me kind of do something with the screen. Y'all sound off in the comments. I appreciate y'all. Here we go. There's another video. Oh, let me see. Yes. Yes. Hold on.
Guys, there's one thing I've...
Hold on for a minute. Oh, I like this. I like this video. Shouts out to the Daily Show. This is, again, Title 17, United States Code, Section 107. Here we go. They do it for the jersey. Come on, you know that's why they doing it. Be real. Don't try to pass off your cosplay as realism, because it's not. I'm not going there. This is the Daily Show. Good guy with the gun, Jordan Klepper. Here we go.
Yeah, and I shot him at the paper.
I would recommend more training.
Come at me, bro.
This is your weapon. Again, I'm handing it to you as a hot weapon.
Okay.
Alert agreed to test my Eastwood-like reflexes in the following simulation. There's an active shooter in the building. With my Glock 17 modified to shoot paintball-like bullets, I'm the good guy with a gun who's going to take him down.
Okay, so you need to be ready. It could happen.
Now, even if you look at his vest, take a look at Jordan Klepper's vest, and then just in your mind, envision the USPSA's magical A zones, right? Look at his vest. You see there's a shot here, which would be in the A zone, shot here, which is dangling between the A and whatever C zone they got. Look at these shots. These shots would have dropped points, but on a body, would it still work? Yes, that's why we don't want your cosplay.
And any second, from this point on, just need to be ready. Stop!
Okay, that was a test run. I wasn't even ready.
Probably not going to be ready for it in real life.
But I get a do-over. Let's do it over again.
So I kneeled down and prepared to do battle. And got shot again. And again. And again.
They fired! They fired!
That's how the USPSA folks are. What did he do? Stand there and took it. Stand there and took it. Ain't that what they do in the USP? Get ready, stand by. They're standing there. Boy, please, you being primed. I love how in this, they did not prime him for this. What happened? Came in.
Probably not going to be ready for it in real life.
But I get a do-over. Let's do it over again.
So I kneeled down and prepared to do battle. In simulation, there's an active shooter in the building. With my Glock 17 modified to shoot paintball-like bullets, I'm the good guy with a gun who's going to take him down.
Okay, so you need to be ready. It could happen at any second. From this point on, just need to be ready. Stop!
Okay, that was a test run. I wasn't even ready.
Probably not going to be ready for it in real life.
But I get a do-over. Let's do it over again.
So I kneeled down and prepared to do battle. And got shot again. And again. And again.
They fired! They fired!
Why was that so hard? That was nothing like Call of Duty.
I told you it's not that simple.
Yeah, but the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. That's science.
That's inaccurate. About 1 out of every 5 active shooter events gets stopped by a potential victim at the scene, and most of those victims are unarmed.
Where'd you get those stats from? Some liberal think tank like Hillary PAC?
No, it's from the FBI report that came out last year, a study of active shooter incidents from 2000 to 2013.
Obama's FBI?
That report,
It's the
that
FBI.
report has been updated too.
You believe that liberal claptrap?
I'm one of the co-authors of the report.
I took a closer look at his report, and it pretty much proved my good guy theory.
There are some cases where we have good guys with guns who are able to stop the shooter.
Most cases.
Very few cases.
Half the cases.
Thank you. He
Not
needs
half.
more training
quarter
to
of the
get off that egg.
Not a quarter of the cases.
What's the percent?
It's about
You can't
3%.
tell the USPSA
3%? But these guys said the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. We must not have enough guns.
97% more people had guns 100% of the time, there'd be 0% crime.
I'm not sure that's how math works.
Pete, it's simple. Gun goes bang, bad guy falls down, I get to have sex with Cher. What more do I need to learn?
If you're going to have a gun, we recommend as much training as you can get.
Fine, I'll train some more. Alert uses this abandoned elementary school to teach law enforcement to respond to active shooter events. Their on-site trainers have over 40 years of combined experience in military and law enforcement. Training with these guys, I'd finally get enough training.
There's never enough training. You're never good enough. It's not so much a destination, it's a journey.
But that destination is Heroville in the state of blowjob land.
Huh?
It's just, I mean, like when you're a hero, cool stuff happens.
Oh,
I've got a condo there. It's Handjob Village, but you guys should come by sometime.
absolutely not. I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm getting lost in this metaphor.
Yes, yes.
After yet another 4.5 more hours of training, it was time to show them how it's done. The scenario is as follows. I hear shots fired at an elementary school. Police are on the way, but with innocent civilians inside, I have to draw my concealed handgun and respond. With a high-tech safety helmet to cover my face and a towel to protect my dick and balls, I'm ready to be a hero. There's the bad guy, mission accomplished.
Bad. Don't you shoot me. Sorry.
Okay.
Hold on, now let me ask you this. Did they shoot him in the A zone? Did he shoot him in the A zone? And see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, even after this, I guarantee you, yes, he shot a good guy, right? Just whatever, right? But he's not checking to see where that bullet went. He's probably just going to walk right past him.
Okay, so that wasn't the bad guy. So where are the bad guys? There they are. There they are. I'm being shot. Oh, thank God. The authorities are here. I just hope they know I'm a good guy. I had failed.
You guys need help? I'm a good guy.
I was shot over 20 times by 2 different bad guys with guns. And then the police mistook me for a bad guy and shot me a bunch too. Also, I may have shot an unarmed teen twice in the chest.
It was tough.
Being a good guy with a gun was starting to feel way more complicated than movies and video games and politicians make it seem.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think any of these guys, right? Do you think any of these guys coming down this hallway? Hold on, let me get that picture real quick. Hold on. Bam. Do you think any of these guys coming down that hallway are going to stop and check to see where that person was shot? No. Homicide detectives will, EMTs will, doctors will, but the average lay person isn't going to do that. But then you got this guy talking about practical shooting. And how do you know it was effective? The difference between speed and accuracy, right? How do you know it was effective? You have to go down range and you have to count up whether or not you hit. You got to count up whether or not you hit. That's not real. That's not real. But I still want to finish. Letting him talk and get to the end of the video, because that's not fair to just, part of it, whatever the case may be. You said, I've taken several classes that involve using blanks and sims. I remember seeing people freeze or got sucked into dangerous situations due to tunnel vision. Hey, first of all, let's talk facts. When you hear people shooting at steel, when you hit steel, and I want y'all to sign off in the comments, please. When you hear people shooting at, or you see people shooting at steel, what's the thing that they rely on? The sense, the thing that they rely on to let them know that they've hit. Sign off in the comments. What's the thing that they rely on to let them know that they have hit? The sound. But don't you get auditory exclusion? Don't you get auditory exclusion? So if you get auditory exclusion, which is the definition, you see what I'm saying? Which is the deafening of the sound. How do you know what you did worked? How practical is that? If the science says that you're going to get auditory exclusion and you're shooting. Matter of fact, before I finish his video, let's go to this. Because Colion Noir just did another video, and he did his video on let me go to, yeah, he just did a video.
All right, so the next thing we're going to do, we call this around the world. What we're practicing here is shooting on the move. Interesting.
So duck walk, just
Yeah, basically.
Here we go.
Heel toe, heel toe, heel toe.
Let's watch this.
The minute you go toe, you'll see the gun go.
gosh.
Here we go.
Okay.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
Now, that last shot, didn't she miss? She had to shoot 4 times. So even in a not so stressful but timed environment, you could still miss, right? But that wasn't the point of me talking about that. So let's go, right? You're counting on the pings, right? You're counting on the pings. So let's go.
Toe, heel toe, heel toe. The minute you go toe, you'll see the gun go.
We got auditory exclusion. We got auditory exclusion.
Shooter ready. Stand by.
So outside of the pings, how do you know that what you did was effective? How do you know that what you did was effective? You went around the world, you were shooting on the move. How do you know that what you did was effective? Right? How do you know that what you did was effective? You said the movement of the target. Okay, the target moved. That is a thing. But here we go. When you shoot JFB, when you're shooting at a real world threat, the lungs exploding. When you're shooting at a real world threat, how do you know that what you did was effective? What's the first thing you're looking for? The threat to be what? Down? Is that fair? Are you looking for the threat to be down? Right? You're looking for the behavior to change. What's the big picture behavior that you're looking for? What is that big picture behavior? Now, I'm going to play this video. This is a target system I developed. And I don't want to say developed because I'm pretty sure it exists someplace else. Right? Here we go. Now, in fairness, if you are walking up to 4 armed threats who have guns, you are already at a disadvantage. You should have avoided this conflict, right? So I recognize the unrealistic scenario that I put myself in, but this is just me testing the shooting system. Here we go. Now, here's me shooting at the USPSA type target after I've shot my first 2. What was the one thing that you saw in me? What's the one thing that you saw in me shooting? The target did what? The target did what? Hip shot. Twice. Am I still moving? Now, obviously, nothing's happening there. They're being impacted. They're being impacted. I'm out of rounds. Mag out. Get off that X. Now, here we go. Let's talk reality. If that was a real situation and both of them were shooting, maybe I bought time. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I got hit. Right? And there have been circumstances where people have been shooting at each other, impacting each other, and they're still shooting at each other. So that's a reality. That can happen. Here's me shooting at your favorite USPSA targets. Nothing's happening at all. What am I doing? I'm engaging. Then it finally falls. Did I still shoot that thing that was falling? That first one just was not going down. It could have been I was missing. It could have been the bullet went through and just went through and through. Who knows? I'm using full metal jackets, not hollow points. I'm not saying it would expand. You keep going till it's down. Sometimes you shoot and nothing happens. Out of rounds. Mag change while moving. Keep going until they fall. Can you shoot this close with steel? Can you shoot this close with steel? Can you shoot this close with steel? You can't shoot this close with steel. I don't see none of those USPSA matches practicing close. I don't see them practicing close. They're definitely practicing distance. So how practical is practical if you're not getting the realistic ball? If you're not getting that close quarters and you're not getting that fall, what do you get? If according to the FBI, most armed encounters are 2 to 5 yards, 6 to 15 feet, why are you practicing so far out? One hand. Come on, man. Varied shot strings. Some it takes one, some it takes two, some it takes three, some it takes four, some it takes more. But if you don't get the exposure to that realistic variation in your shot strings, and the thing is, I thought about doing something like planning a first shots 3, second shots 2. You don't want to plan that in your mind. You want the situation to dictate how many times you may actually have to discharge your firearm. You don't want to have a pre-planned thing in your mind. Look, you don't know how many times you're going to have to shoot until you're shooting. You just don't know. Hey, potentially criminal. What's going on? What's up, sir? Even with that first shot. See, I shot 4 times. The first one was 1. The second one was 4. You don't know. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Make it practical. Make it practical. That first time I hit, did nothing. Twice, went down. That can happen. You could shoot and miss. Three on that one. And what did I use? Cover. I used the barricades that were there. Yes, come on now. Read Medal of Honor citations. The human body can sustain tons of damage. Yes, that's why I said that realistic 2 shots move, 2 shots move, 2 shots. Shit's unrealistic. It's not realistic. For it to be practical, that's not practical. That's not practical. That's cosplay. It's competition. Just call it United States Competitive Shooting Association. Okay, that makes sense. It's competitive. But practical? That's hardly practical. That's hardly see-through walls. See-through walls. That's hardly practical. I just recently pulled a police shooting stats in my state for a class, and 97% of the shootings in the past 10 years have been at 5 yards or closer. Yes, FBI studies show that most armed encounters are 2 to 5 yards, 6 to 15 feet. You see what I'm saying? So come on, man. Come on. That's just not practical. All right. I'm out. I'm going to get some lunch. I just wanted to have that conversation. Let me play the rest of his video. I do want to play the rest of his video to see what else he has to say, because I'm kind of watching it with you all at the same time. Y'all go to Potentially Criminals channel if you don't mind and follow him. Great guy. Gives a lot of opinions and education, not legal advice, because he's not giving legal advice, but he's giving opinions and education, stuff like that. And this is not attacking Mac Pranka the person. This is just my thing on him, his shooting, his position. I'm attacking his position. I'm not attacking him as the person, or anybody for that matter. Thank you, sir. But I'm not attacking that. I'm just attacking the position on him talking about competition shooters and stuff like that, and why we don't want the cosplay of that, the USPSA's practical shoot. It's not practical. It's not practical. We may see it. We may freeze. Why do we freeze? Because the target didn't fall. Here we go.
Of competitors. The stress of on-demand performance in a match when everyone's watching and you know that it's going to be recorded and you're going to be ranked against a field of competitors is something that most tactical shooters don't get from their scenario-based training. One thing I think is for certain is that...
Yeah, because there's no real audience in a deadly threatening situation as a civilian. There's no real audience in a deadly threatening situation as a civilian. I mean, you may have bystanders that may be watching. They are a type of audience, but it's a consistent audience like in a competition.
Practical shooters have elements of shooting that are very applicable to the tactical world, like movement, efficiency, and the gun handling piece down better than anybody. For this reason...
Okay, so what's the issue?
I think you have to look to practical shooting and competitive shooting as a way to train, develop as a tactical shooter.
No, you do not. You look to that as a way to have fun. You look to that as a way to have fun. You do not look to that as a way to be practical, because you're standing on an X where there's no cover, no concealment, and you're shooting 2 shots and moving on to another tango. And if both of those tangos or targets are deadly threatening targets, you're open and exposed. You're open and exposed.
When I want to get better at shooting on the tactical side, and I want to develop my foundation and enhance my shooting skills, I'm going to look to the people that have mastered the elements of practical shooting. And practical shooters have that side of the shooting figured out much better than tactical shooters.
There's nothing practical about see-through walls. I think he's paid to say this stuff. There's nothing practical about see-through walls. What about Murphy's Law? I think that's Murphy's Law that says no plan survives first contact. Why? Because things could change. Plans could change. I remember watching The Wire. I got a bunch of stories personally, professionally, but I like using TV references because you can look that up and verify, right? But I remember watching The Wire. Hulk became sergeant. He's assigned to this unit with Lieutenant Marimo. They're trying to do a drug raid, and they worked off of old intel, no surveillance, stuff like that. They hit the place after getting a search warrant, and they ended up with nothing. And Hulk was like, first of all, the lieutenant didn't even trust Hulk, right? Hulk had been a street cop, you know, doing drugs and stuff like that. And he was like, you know, these trap houses change, right? It ain't nothing for them to change a trap house. If you don't have constant surveillance, you running a warrant on a place that's going to easily move. There's a difference between the real world and your range theatrics. And the problem is he knows that. He knows that. But he's no longer in the military. So when you got to get that money, baby, it ain't nothing to sell you a lie. Come on now. I said what I said. All right. Shouts out to potentially criminal L228. JFB, always a pleasure, brother. Come out and play. Appreciate you. So high. What's going on? Let me just shout out Easton Turner. Let's see who else. Dale Jackson, again, always a pleasure. Sigmanica 773, the Pimp 1984. Just recognizing you. Vanessa, what's going on? Okay. The Pimp again. Okay. Sign off in the comments. Look, I know the competitors are coming for me. I know they're coming for me. They're trying to. But the problem is, argue with your mama. Argue with your mama. Matt Pranker even said most competitive shooters don't want it because when stacked up, we don't want the embarrassment. It ain't the embarrassment we don't want. We're going to get the embarrassment. Why? Because I remember when I went to Wednesday night shoot night at a particular range. And the only reason why I'm not advertising this range is not because I don't like the range. I love them. Y'all probably already know what I'm talking about. But I'm not trying to bring no light to them negatively, right? But I remember going, and I remember the guy who was there, who was coordinated. Oh, he's an awesome shooter. But what did he say to me? Mike, you're moving too tactically. And I said, that's my experience. I'm not going to not move tactically. Okay. And when I was shooting the round the world and all that other stuff, yeah, was I dropping points? Yeah, I didn't give a fuck. My goal was, did I hit? And for me, I hit every time. Well, a couple of times I missed. A couple of times I did miss. Right. But most of the time I hit. That, for me, that's the goal. I ain't thinking about no alphas. I ain't thinking about none of that stuff. And I did hit some alphas there. But I'm not thinking about that. Why? Because in my mind, this person is shooting back or has the potential to shoot back. I have to peer around that corner, pop, and get that shot before they see me and have the chance to shoot back. Why? I don't want to get hit. But in your cosplay world, you know you're not getting hit. So you can afford to take certain liberties because you know you're not getting hit. I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. Yes, bro, they did. They asked me for my split time, which I got a shot timer. They asked me, what's your fastest build drill time? Boy, fuck. Look, I'm not thinking about none of that. In Chicago, we got real consequences here. Okay? We're not cosplaying around here. I said what I said. Love y'all. Green Dean, what's going on? Go follow Potentially Criminal. Follow all y'all. I appreciate y'all for coming in and talking. Look, yes, do I have 1 million followers? Yes, I do. Whatever the fuck that's worth, right? But the core people who come in here, who have the conversations and are willing to talk and or teach me. I am an internal student, right? I am an eternal student. I will always be a learner, if you will, right? Tino the Barber, shouts out to you. Hey, Tino, go back and watch this video if you don't mind, right? I'm about to end it right now. But I am an eternal student. I will always be a learner. But you got to make it make sense to me. I'm not going. You can't sell me on competition shooting, keeping myself open and exposed without using cover and concealment. I'm always going to try to find the cover and concealment if I can. You know what I'm saying? Oh, excuse me. Always. All right, Mr. Instructor Mike, you've been trained. Wait a minute. for those competition shooters who say they should really vet the qualifications of these instructors, well, you come vet it. You come vet it peacefully. This is just talk, no conflict. This is just talk. Don't let your cosplay in you in a situation. Let's go. I'll see y'all later. Peace.